And on top, if you would please write parallelograms. What you always want to know, but we're afraid to ask. First of all, what is a parallelogram? What is it? Wait, we have a new person?
Yeah, Danny.
Danny! I don't think I was ever told we had a new person in class. Danny, tell me all about yourself.
Well, my name is Danny.
Your interests?
Huh?
Your interests? You know, I want the whole thing. Let's start at birth. Oh, you know how many pounds, how many ounces you weigh? How about your birthday? How about your birthday?
July 24th.
I like July people. July people are anybody else July in here? I didn't say I didn't like other months. I didn't. Anyway, sorry, Danny, your last name?
Carol.
Oh, Carol? A little Irish in you? A lot of Irish in you? Just your dad, not your mom? Yeah, that's good. I like the Irish. Wait, the Irish kids are sitting together. Because Diedrich is Irish too, right? Oh, Diedrich. Anyway, so you go to school where now? Grand Reserve. I've seen it many times from the road. And you're thinking about coming across this year, next year, last year?
I'm thinking about next year.
Good. We would love to have you. Connor would love to have some other Irish blood in here. Oh wait, we've got a basketball player? Wow, that's all more. Huh? Oh yeah, the old Fishers. There's Irish. Wait, raise your hand if you're Irish. Oh man.
My last name's German.
Yeah,
my last name's German. I'm German and
Very good. I really didn't know. Wait, your name was again? Danny. Wait, Irish and Danny. I should know it because one of the most famous Irish songs in the world is "Oh Danny Boy." I don't sing it because it's not that good, but it is one of them. Good deal. Well, Danny, thanks for showing up. Have you been here all day?
Till 12.
Oh, but you started at 8? Wait, this is 6S?
Yeah, 6 started with 6.
Oh.
He's shadowing for both classes. But he likes sarcasm. Yeah, he likes sarcasm.
I won't ask you, Danny, which one you like. Are you staying through lunch? No.
Well, I'm leaving at 12.
Oh, so that's the worst. You get here all the way through lunch and then you don't get to experience lunch. Good deal. I really should have noticed that before. I didn't realize. I must have missed an email or something. So, anyways, back to what a parallelogram is. Does anybody know exactly what the exact definition of a parallelogram is? Wait, Charles, did you know Charles before?
No.
Did you go to Grand Reserve? No.
I don't think so.
How many are there 3 different schools?
Circle Center,
Bristol
Grand
Bay.
Reserve, and that's all I know.
Well, when you have what? There's like 500 kids in 5th grade or 6th grade, right? Or close to 500 kids. Yeah. You can't put them all in one room there. Charles, what's a parallelogram?
A sheet that has 2 parallel sides around.
Okay, yeah, we call it's a quadrilateral. It's a 4-sided shape that has all parallel sides. Now, we already know a lot about some parallelograms because 2 obvious parallelograms that we deal with all the time are squares and rectangles. Those are parallelograms. But we're looking at more specific parallelograms, which are the ones, usually when somebody says parallelogram, they mean this shape. It's this guy that has this little thing. No, rhombus is different than a parallelogram. Well, a rhombus is a parallelogram, but a rhombus is a parallelogram that has 4 equal sides, and this one does not have 4 equal sides. So it would work with rhombuses, but I intentionally didn't draw a rhombus just so you can see things. Now here are some important things that you need to know, take note of about a parallelogram. First of all, that all the angles inside a parallelogram added together gives you, anybody? 360 degrees. Which makes sense because if you go back to the two parallelograms, we do know how many 90-degree angles are there? 4. 4 times 90 is 360. Okay? Got that? Oh, by the way, on a side note, you know how many degrees are in a triangle? 180. So take a look. This will amaze and astound Sam. If I took a line, Sam, and cut this parallelogram down, what did I just cut it into? 2
Triangle.
So if each triangle has 180 degrees, then 2 triangles has
360.
See, we're getting somewhere now. Hold on a sec. Okay, now things that you need to know about your parallelogram is this. Besides that, you need to know that opposite angles are equal. I'll let you write that down, and then we'll talk about the major significance of that. What that means is this. If this angle is 60 degrees, the angle that's directly opposite is also 60 degrees. Another fun and exciting fact. Something else you need to know is this. I gotta make sure I say it just right. If I'm gonna say it at all. Yep. Adjacent angles and by adjacent they mean the ones that are next to each other, like I suppose I should label this A, B, C, and D. A is an adjacent angle to D because it's right next to it. They share a common side. Adjacent angles add up to 180 degrees. Which, if I were smart, let me see. I don't have a parallel. I can't draw a parallelogram with this, can I?
You could use the lines.
I could draw these lines, but that's not what I wanted to do. I could try this here. You don't have to write this down. Let me see if I can do this. Without picking my pencil off of the paper, which is something I highly don't recommend people do. What that means is this. Let me get one out of there. Okay, you've got this angle. If I were to take this angle here and put it next to this angle here, it would form 180 degrees, which is a
Triangle.
straight line. It's not a triangle. How did this thing get so much bigger, by the way? I'm gonna change colors and make it. I don't want to make it smaller. I do want to make it smaller though. Which means this. See if this makes sense. I'm going to move this angle, which is this angle, and put it next to that angle. And when I put them together, they should actually be a straight line or close to it. I mean, they should. See, and they do. I just messed up here. Wait, I can fix it. Oh, look. I'll manipulate it. All right, forget it. Let's go back. Let's go back to where we were. Is this it? So that means this. If this is 60 degrees, then angle D has to be how many degrees? Because they have to add up to 180 degrees. Angle D would have to be, Olivia? 180 minus 60? 120 degrees. Right? 60 plus 120 is 180. And if I know angle D is 120 degrees, then I know angle B is same. Remember, it's an opposite angle. Yep, 120 degrees. And guess what I get if I add 120 plus 120 plus 60 plus 60? 360. Okay, so the nice thing about that is if you know one angle of your parallelogram, you know them all. So here's my parallelogram. I give you this parallelogram. And I tell you that this angle is 110 degrees. If you know that one angle, you know them all. Why, Lacey Robbins? A, B, C, D. Angle B has to be what, Lacey? 110 because it's an opposite angle. Angle C has to be, Lacey? Remember, adjacent angles, if they're next to each other, they have to add up to 180, so it would have to be same. What number when you add to 110 gives you 180? 70. And this one would also have to be 70. That's good. Do you Irish people get that?
Yes.
Yep.
What are, by the way, what are Irish people known for?
Bagpipes.
Bagpipes, quite possibly. Aren't they known for potatoes?
Beer and dancing.
In Chicago, most of the Irish people, when they moved to Chicago, became, a lot of them anyways, they're well known for becoming Chicago police officers.
Really?
Yeah, Irish police officers. Not all of them, but that was one of the things. They're known for the luck of the Irish. Wait, is Notre Dame? You a big Notre Dame fan? So you can only when he's around you claim to be a little bit more of a Notre Dame. Wait, well, so if you weren't Notre Dame, who would you cheer on? Anybody? As long as you don't say Ohio State, will be okay. I'm not that big of a college person. Football person. And the last thing we need to know about parallelograms, write this down that you don't already know, is the area of a parallelogram. And the area equals this, base times height. If you write the shortened condensed version, it's this, area equals BH. Capital B, little h, or little b, little capital H. Now that's different than this. When you had a rectangle, if this is 2 inches and this was 6 inches, the area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay, and that's different than base times height. Put that in your little noggin there. Because there's another place we talk about base times height. Do you remember when we found areas of something? Maybe we haven't done it yet. Have we done triangles yet?
No.
Alright, we're good. Then look. When you see B and H in math, when you see base and height in math, those two things, they have to form a right angle with each other. They have to form a right angle. So if I had, let's take the parallelogram I have here. If I have this as being 10 inches and this as being 6 inches, I do not have enough information to find the area of this because these lines don't form right angles. You cannot find the area of this unless you're given a little bit more information. And the book will do it a couple different ways. One way they'll do it is they'll put a little dash line like this, and they'll give you a little right angle symbol, and they'll tell you how tall that is. Maybe it's 5 inches. Now I can do that problem. You look for the two lines that form right angles with each other, and that is this 10 and this 5. The area of that is 10 times 5. The area is 50 inches. Danny, your favorite class is math, I assume? Always has been? Oh, look at that. Things couldn't get any better for us at this point. Okay? Do you get that? Area has to be these two. The other way they could do it is like this. If you're given your parallelogram, did you play basketball on a travel team?
I played basketball on travel team last year.
Not that that matters. I know they don't have 6th grade basketball at Yorkville, right? I mean, you can't.
Well, given it intramural basketball.
Which, when you have 500 kids, you probably have a lot of kids that play basketball.
Yeah, there are a lot.
And probably some good teams. I thought. Hi, wait, did you have break time then already?
Hmm?
What did you do?
Scrimmage game.
What's that?
Scrimmage game. Yeah.
Ooh, a scrimmage game. Wow. We got a tournament this weekend, you wanna suit up? Is Ethan Malis here today?
No.
Oh,
He's on Xbox listening.
What's that?
He's on Xbox.
Oh, you guys and your Xboxes. You can't say that unless you were on Xbox too. Alright, the other way that they'll show base and height, you know, let's say this is 8 centimeters. Okay, besides putting a little dash line right here, they might extend this line out like this and then bring a straight line down like this. You'll still see that little square corner thing and they'll still give you whatever it is. And your formula, and if you see this problem in the book, I need you to sketch it out, I need you to put the dimensions, I need you to write the formula down and then you can put the numbers in. Area equals 8 times 4, and that is 32 inches per square. Don't think that you have to add. This is 8 from here to here. You don't add any more to it because it extends the line. It's still just 8 times 4. How does that treat you? I think that will probably get you to where you need to go.